Hey, it's Ann Alexander with Exit Coast Real Estate Pros here in Myrtle Beach. We're going to start diving into your first-time homebuyer questions. So stay tuned and let's get rolling. Hi, welcome to today's episode of my first-time homebuyer video. And today we're going to be talking with Ed Bocchino. He is a mortgage lender and branch manager for Movement Mortgage here in Myrtle Beach. So let's head over and see what he has to say. Welcome to my first-time homebuyer episode. We're talking about mortgages today, and you are the branch manager at Movement Mortgage, and I guess you're originally from New Jersey, so I won't hold that against you, but But anyway, for my viewers, I've been working with Ed for several years now, and he is one of my go-to persons for mortgage and especially helping first-time homebuyers. He and I have worked really well together with helping several first-time homebuyers achieve that. And it's been a real pleasure to work with him. So Ed, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. First off, thank you very much, Ann, for having me on today. I've been in the mortgage industry for about 29 years now, so certainly not new to what I do. And I just say the most pleasurable thing that I really do, honestly, is working with first-time home buyers. I mean, it is just it just feels great. Had an incident today, in fact. First-time home buyer doing an application, and the feeling that I know that they have when they find out that they can actually purchase a home, frankly, it chokes you up. Knowing that they're getting to where they want to get to, and they've done all the hard work, they put themselves in the right position. So that's just really I think it's emotional, yeah. Right? And people do work hard to get the ability to buy a home, and I'm just happy to be able to help them out, and it feels good for everybody at the end of the day.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because my whole series here has been leading them up to this point where they're just about ready to talk to a mortgage officer, or a loan person. So it's really great. So tell me, one of my questions that I had for you today is, what are the benefits of being a first-time home buyer?
Yeah, sure. So there are multiple programs that are out there. Unfortunately, the word first-time home buyer is often used just for marketing purposes. If you're a prospect looking to potentially purchase a home, I would first say stay off the internet. I mean, it's a good basis for some education that you can get, as long as it's not labeled as an ad. Right, because a lot of what you'll find, they call it clickbait, right, is really just other lenders, brokers, companies trying to get leads, not necessarily trying to help educate, but just trying to get a lead in the door for them to work with. So I think the internet's great for educational purposes. You can go directly to HUD or FHA and learn about FHA programs. You can go to Fannie Mae directly and learn about their first-time home buying programs like Home Ready, and Freddie Mac is Home Possible. And I think going directly to the entity for the education and to learn about it online is great. But in working with an agent, a realtor, they, someone like yourself, Ann, right, know the people to go to that are going to get them the right answers. That are accurate, right, as they're working toward trying to get approved for a purchase. But there are several programs, or a handful at least, and primarily what it does is just offers lower down payment opportunities. There's USDA. If you're in a USDA area, that could be 100% financing. You can actually get a seller concession towards closing costs, and frankly, not that it puts you in the most comfortable position, but you could actually close on a home with less than $100 out of your pocket. with something like USDA. Excuse me, FHA, 3.5% down. And that's a good program for folks that may have had some challenges in the past with their credit. So maybe their credit scores are in the mid 600s or something like that, where pricing will be or interest rates will be a little bit better, under FHA, and FHA guidelines are a little more lenient. And that's a great program for folks looking to buy a first home. And then you have conventional financing. And I use words like Fannie Mae, but don't get confused. I mean, a lot of people have heard of them, but some people just buying a home may not know what I'm talking about. But this is just the entity that insures these loans, right? So they have programs like 3% down, a home ready program. And on any of those products, you can still get a seller concession towards closing costs up to a certain percent of the purchase price of the home. And it just, helps at the end of the day, whether it's a little better interest rate, whether it's for first-time home buyer, whether it's less money down, or whether it's a little more lenient on maybe some past credit challenges.
Okay. Well, I know that some of my clients get scared by the conventional loan, even the term and even just that in general, because, back in the day, it was a 20% down. And so sometimes, I'm talking to my clients or, even potential clients that think, oh gosh, if I go conventional, I have to have 20% down. But that's not true anymore, is it?
No, and in fact, I mean, I've heard that from folks that have bought multiple homes before and just didn't know that, they can actually put less than 20% down. But you're right, that's the mindset out of the gate. Look, these are government subsidized entities, right? And we want people responsibly to be able to purchase a home. So the guidelines definitely weigh the risk, right? And if everything aligns, I mean, there are programs out there that are easily accessible to first-time home buyers that, they don't realize how easy it is, to get into the home.
And then on the FHA side, I know that there's certain guidelines with that loan, especially like, let's say, a condo. So there's only certain condominium complexes in my viewers' local, their local areas. They're not necessarily here in Myrtle Beach with us, but how do they decide what those guidelines are? I don't know if you can answer that or not, but I just had a
Yeah, sure. Well, FHA is a primary home only product.
Okay.
Right. So whether it's conventional or it's FHA or it's even VA, and VA is a whole nother product we never really talked about, right?
Right.
100% financing for our veterans, no doubt. But they look at the risk, and the biggest thing that with FHA is that it takes a lot just to get a condo project approved.
Okay.
Out of the gate. And it's amazing in our area just alone. I mean, there's only a handful at best of condos that are on the FHA approved list. So they don't make it easy, and they make it costly, in fact, and not easy to get them approved. That approval process can happen, however, okay? But it just takes time. I mean, it could take up to 45 days to 60 days to get a condo approved for FHA financing. And why, that's like a couple of reasons why you don't find a lot of FHA approved condos. And then, especially in our area, there's a good amount of condominiums that allow less than 30-day rentals, right, within their project. And that's a no-no right out of the gate, for FHA financing and VA as well. So I think FHA just doesn't make it easy. And, in a fast moving market like ours, people are they're looking now. They're not looking and saying, okay, well, we can do this, but let's wait for 60 days to get the condo approved, because by the time that happens, that unit's probably sold 3 times over by then. I mean, that's how fast inventory moves. So, generally speaking, that's where conventional financing comes in for these condominiums, because, if you have a decent credit score and we meet the income parameters, when you're at 3% down, you're actually less down
right
for conventional financing than you are an FHA loan by 0.5%. And it's much easier
Okay.
to get these condos approved. In fact, that's just part of our process as we go from contract to close. And, we close within 30 days. So, I mean, just within that entire process going from contract to close, getting that condo approved for conventional financing, if it isn't already, it's just part of our everyday process. We do that multiple times a day.
Okay, great. All right, so moving on to, they've got the mortgage, everything's been, is going through, or, we're at that point, we're almost at the closing table. What is included in their mortgage payment? So, every month they have to, send that payment in. What all goes into that payment?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So it really depends on the type of product, right? Uh, if they're putting less than 20% down, they're going to have mortgage insurance. So if I went from the top down to the bottom, basically the first thing that's going to be part of the payment is the principal and interest payment on the mortgage, right? So whatever amount they borrowed at whatever interest rate, based on whatever the term may be, say it's a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, right? Based on 30 years, that monthly payment is principal and interest is going to pay toward the principal and interest of the loan as it amortizes or goes through its 30-day life cycle or 30-year life cycle, sorry. On top of that, what we do is we hold escrow, right? So not to get it complicated, the bottom line is every property has taxes and insurance, whether it's a condo, whether it's a single family home, there's property taxes and there's homeowners insurance that are going to be paid. What banks and lenders do is at closing, your first year of your insurance policy will be paid at closing. And then every single month, we're going to hold in escrow, in a separate escrow account, whatever that monthly number is that breaks down the taxes and insurance, we're going to hold that. So you're paying that as part of your payment. So just say to make life easy, your property taxes were $50 a month and your homeowner's insurance was $150 a month, and just say your mortgage payment was $750 a month. So you're going to pay $900 a month. We're going to take the $50 and the $150, and we're going to put that aside. And then at the end of the year, we're going to make the payment, full year payment for your homeowner's insurance premium and pay your taxes every year. So your mortgage payment is going to include the principal and interest, the monthly amount of your property taxes, the monthly amount of your homeowner's insurance. And if there were mortgage insurance to insure the loan, because we're putting less than 20% down, that would be included in the payment as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so going forward for our first-time home buyers, can you explain to us why a pre-approval letter is so important?
Yeah, sure. And yeah, a lot of folks just don't realize how important it really is, right? So when they're out looking and shopping for homes, before you even approach how important it is to the seller to know that they have qualified people going through their home, I think it's more important for the buyer just to have a level of confidence to know, and it's funny, the people that don't qualify think they should be qualified. The people that qualify are concerned if they're qualified or not, right? That's just what I see. But, the strange thing is you could be approved for more than what you're even comfortable with, right? So I think just getting all those numbers aligned, and making sure that it meets your budget, not so much what you can be approved for. I just had that situation today. They could be approved for more, but their budget was $1,000 or less per month is where they want it to be. Right. And so just having that conversation with someone that's actually issuing that pre-approval and knows the products and can talk through what to expect and what those numbers is certainly very eye-opening for a first-time home buyer, and frankly any buyer, but especially first-time home buyers, to know that everything aligns with what they're comfortable with spending on a month-to-month basis. And then you have that approval. And in some cases, look, some folks can't get approved right out of the gate. But the thing that I do and my team does is we talk through that and we work toward helping people get positioned to be able to purchase, because we know that, it's something that they really want to do. And if they're willing to work hard to do that, we're going to help direct them. But pre-approval is very important for the buyer to have confidence, for the agent themselves to have confidence, right? And knowing what their buying power is. So they're sending them the right information and the right homes to view. It makes no sense to spend time looking at homes that are either under your budget or above your budget, right? Look at the homes that are going to fit your needs and meet your budget. And then more so important to the seller, because I always tell my prospects and clients, when they say, well, they want a pre-approval, well, yeah, put yourself in the seller's shoes. If you're selling a property, you want to know qualified people. I mean, this is your home, right? Imagine if it was your home and you just invited everyone and anyone to just come through your home. You don't know who they are, right? So the seller really wants the confidence that people that are coming through their home have a pre-approval. And then in the end, if you get to that point of making an offer on the home, it gives everyone the confidence that you've been pre-qualified or pre-approved to be able to purchase it.
Right. And that's one of the main things that I won't even take anyone out to show property, because I want to make sure, like you said a moment ago, that I'm not overselling or underselling. And I want to make sure that they're in a place that they're comfortable with. I mean, I don't want to go and show $300,000 homes when they end up being, qualified for a $200,000 home. I mean, there's a huge difference there, in what type of product we have, on my end too, that, because they could find their dream home and it's $300,000 and then
be disappointed.
Then right. Get it approved and find out they're only qualified. Yeah. So there's a lot of disappointment there. So that's one thing that, I always make sure is to make sure that I'm calling, one of my lender partners to find out, if they're, if we can get them pre-approved and what the price, what their, parameters are. So,
well, it's a fast moving market, right? Exactly. So if you have someone that's actively in the market to purchase a home, time is everything, right? It's just, a home comes on the market here, as you know, and it's happening in a lot of places, and it's off the market in 24 to 48 hours, right? So if you're serious about buying as a potential buyer, know exactly where you need to be. Know exactly what your buying power is, where you're comfortable at, and stay focused on just looking at properties in that range. And that's what the pre-approval does, is it sets that up for you and it gives them that information they need, because while you're sitting there looking at a home that is not within your comfort level, the home that was just sold, right? And you could have been looking at that home. Yeah. So yeah, that's very important.
Well, Ed, I really appreciate your time today. And
well, thank you for having me.
No problem. Are there any last minute words of wisdom that you can give our viewers today?
Yeah, sure. Luck favors the prepared, right? I always say that. I heard that on a movie once, and it always stuck with me, right? So when you hear the word pre-approval, think more of the word pre-positioning, right? You're getting pre-positioned to purchase. It's not pre-approval. Some people be like, well, that's a scary word, right? I got to do an application. I got to get pre-approved. It's not scary. You're talking to someone like me. I mean, this is how the conversation goes. Right. It's really easy, and we're here to help. But I would say get pre-positioned. Just understand whether you're buying in a month from now, or you're buying 6 months from now, or you think you may have some credit challenges or some other challenge, and you just want to understand what it takes. I have folks that come back a year later and we work with them, and now they're finally buying their first house. And I always say there's light at the end of the tunnel. We know we're going to get there if we work together. And other than that, I'll give you my cell number, right? If anyone has any questions, just call me direct. I mean, we close upwards of 350 transactions a year, just my team alone. But I always have time to help our clients, and especially first-time home buyers. So, it's Ed Bocchino, and if you have any questions, just call my cell at 843-655-8078, and we're always more than happy to help out.
Great. And for everybody watching, I will have all of his contact information in my description. So again, Ed, thank you so much for taking the time today to join me. And I look forward to working with you again soon.
Great. Thank you so much, Ann. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Ed. Again, that's Ed Bocchino, and he's with Movement Mortgage here in the Myrtle Beach area. And next week, I'm hoping to have another lender on with me, and we will see what we can do with that. But all of Ed's information will be below, and he's only a phone call or a text away, as well as I am. So give us a call and we'll get you on the right track. Until then, I'll see you next week.